My name is Mark, and at 42 years old, I had carved out a simple existence on our family farm in rural Oklahoma, where the flatlands stretched endlessly under wide blue skies. Married to Lisa for 15 years, she was my rock, handling the household while I battled the elements outdoors. Our three kids, little Sophie at 8, energetic Tom at 11, and teenage Anna at 14, filled the house with noise and joy, their laughter echoing through the fields during chores. As a farmer, I rose with the sun, tending rows of corn and wheat, feeding the cattle that dotted our pastures. The work was backbreaking, hands calloused from plowing soil and fixing fences, but it provided for us a rhythm as predictable as the seasons. Life revolved around practical worries. Would the harvest yield enough to cover the tractor loan payments that loomed like dark clouds? Rain too little or too much could spell disaster, turning golden fields to mud or dust. Family picnics on Sundays were our escape, spreading blankets under oak trees, Lisa's homemade apple pie warm from the oven, kids chasing butterflies while we talked about school and dreams. But arguments crept in, small sparks over money or time, like when I'd stay late in the barn, missing dinner, leaving Lisa frustrated. Faith lingered in the background, a casual grace before meals. Nothing profound, just habit from childhood church visits, God feeling distant amid daily grinds. Mornings started early, alarm buzzing at 4 a.m., coffee brewing as dawn painted the horizon pink. I'd kiss Lisa goodbye, her sleepy smile a quiet comfort, then head to the fields, tractor rumbling like an old friend. The kids would wake later, Sophie rubbing eyes, Tom bounding with energy for school, Anna texting friends. Work meant checking irrigation, herding cows, the scent of earth and hay filling my lungs. Lunch was simple sandwiches in the shade, mind wandering to bills stacking on the kitchen table, that nagging fear of drought wiping out crops. Afternoons blurred into labor, repairing equipment, weeding rows under relentless sun, sweat soaking my shirt. Satisfaction came from growth, seedlings pushing through soil like miracles I took for granted. Evenings brought reunion, Lisa's dinners steaming on the table, stories shared, Sophie's drawings of farm animals pinned to the fridge. We'd watch sunsets from the porch, fireflies dancing, a brief peace before worries resurfaced. Faith? A quick bedtime prayer for the kids, but my heart wasn't in it, too tired for deeper connection. Weekends offered respite, community fairs where we'd sell produce, kids riding ponies, Lisa chatting with neighbors. But underlying tensions simmered, tractor repairs eating savings, arguments flaring like summer storms over priorities. I envied Lisa's quiet faith, her Bible open on nights I paced worrying about loans. Life felt stable yet fragile, routines masking deeper longings for meaning beyond the plow. May 2025 arrived warm, fields greening promisingly, hope blooming with the crops. That afternoon, skies darkened unexpectedly. Winds whispering warnings I ignored, focused on securing the barn. Clouds swirled ominously, thunder rumbling like distant artillery. Lisa called the kids inside, her voice tense over the growing howl. I rushed to the cellar, heart pounding, debris already whipping through air like angry spirits. The tornado hit with fury, a roaring monster twisting from the heavens, uprooting trees and shredding fences in seconds. Winds screamed, barn walls buckling, metal groaning in protest. I dove into the cellar, door slamming shut, but the force was unrelenting, roof collapsing in a cascade of wood and nails, crushing weight slamming down. Pain exploded through my body, ribs cracking, darkness rushing in like floodwaters. Last thoughts. Lisa, the kids, would they survive? Then nothingness, clinically dead amid the ruins, my ordinary world shattered in an instant. In that void, the contrast hit. From Earth's predictable toils to sudden chaos, a dramatic pivot forcing reflection on neglected faith. The storm wasn't just weather, it symbolized life's unpredictability, stripping illusions of control. Buried under debris, body broken, spirit prepared for transcendence, worries fading like distant echoes. Rescuers would later describe the scene. Farm in tatters, cellar buried, my pulse absent when they dug me out. But in death's grasp, peace awaited, a light beyond the tornado's darkness, promising revelations I'd ignored in routine days. Family suffered in those moments. Lisa praying desperately, kids huddling in fear, the twister's path a scar across our land. My return would bridge worlds, transforming casual existence into purposeful awakening, faith's seed finally taking root. As the crushing weight of the collapsed cellar faded into nothingness, a strange liberation washed over me, my essence detaching gently from the broken form buried in rubble. I began to float upward, effortlessly, like a leaf carried on a soft breeze after the storm's rage. Below, the farm lay in ruins. Twisted metal from the barns scattered like matchsticks, fields torn asunder by the tornado's fury. Rescuers arrived, their flashlights piercing the dusk, voices shouting as they dug frantically through debris for survivors. Unaware, my spirit hovered just above, observing with detached curiosity. No pain lingered from crushed bones or cuts. Instead, a profound peace enveloped me, calm as the eye of the hurricane I'd just endured, warmth spreading through what felt like my core. The scene below shrank as I ascended, the devastation appearing smaller, almost insignificant from this new height, the tornado's path a mere scar on the vast Oklahoma plains. Neighbors gathered, Lisa's distant cries reaching me faintly, her face etched with terror as she clutched the kids, praying amid the chaos. Yet fear evaded me entirely. It dissolved like morning mist under sun, replaced by serenity that defied the horror. This out-of-body view was surreal, like watching a movie of my own life, the farm's familiar contours blurring into abstraction. Worries that once consumed me, crops ruined, loans unpaid, faded to irrelevance, shedding like old skin, leaving only lightness and freedom in their wake. Higher I rose, pulled by an invisible force toward a horizon glowing with soft golden light, not harsh like lightning but inviting, warm as dawn breaking after night. The air, ethereal now, carried no dust or storm scent. Instead, a fresh purity, like spring rain on clean earth, cleansing my senses. Peace deepened, a blanket of tranquility muffling earthly echoes, love beginning to stir within, deeper than family bonds I'd cherished yet taken for granted. Pain's memory vanished completely, body forgotten below, spirit unburdened as if I'd finally rested after decades of farm toil, boots kicked off, feet free. The light grew nearer, its radiance expanding, wrapping around me like a loving parent's arms, unconditional and all-encompassing. Colors shifted, gold to hues of amber and rose, evoking sunsets over wheat fields, but infinitely more vivid, alive with energy that pulsed gently. Calm intensified, fear's shadows banished entirely, replaced by joy bubbling subtly, like discovering hidden springs in parched land. This wasn't death's cold void. It was life's true essence, a realm where love reigned supreme, inviting surrender without demand. Deeper into the glow I ventured, the earthly world vanishing below clouds, only faint rumbles of thunder lingering as reminders. Serenity became euphoria, every thought clear, unclouded by daily grinds. No more fretting over weather reports or market prices. The light felt sentient, guiding me with tenderness, healing invisible wounds from years of hardship, regrets over neglected family time dissolving in its warmth. Metaphors flooded my mind, this as harvest after sowing, reaping peace from life's storms. As I fully entered the light's embrace, Love overwhelmed, a tidal wave of acceptance washing away doubts about faith I'd harbored. No judgment here, only forgiveness, like soil forgiving the plow for richer yields. The contrast sharpened, from tornado's dark fury to this luminous haven, ordinary Mark transformed, spirit awakening to possibilities beyond physical labors. Sensory shifts amazed, subtle melodies hummed, harmonious as wind through leaves, scents of blooming flowers evoking childhood meadows. Peace anchored me, fear's grip broken forever, light symbolizing divine love I'd ignored in routine prayers. Venturing further, the light pulsed with life, revealing glimpses of unity, all creation connected, my farm but a thread in vast tapestry. Calm pervaded, inviting reflection on human frailties without shame. Finally, immersed completely, serenity peaked, readying me for encounters ahead, the light a bridge from mortal chaos to eternal truth. This ascent marked a rebirth, old worries shed, new purpose dawning in radiant glow. As the golden light enveloped me completely, a figure began to coalesce from its depths, not abruptly but with a gentle emergence, like the sun rising over misty fields after a night storm. His form shimmered with an inner radiance, robes flowing like harvested wheat in the wind, face etched with timeless wisdom, and eyes that held the vastness of oceans, deep, compassionate, drawing me in without effort. Recognition struck instantly. This was Jesus, the one I'd heard of in Sunday school tales but dismissed in my busy farming days. No fanfare announced him. His presence alone radiated love so profound it pierced my soul, forgiving years of spiritual neglect without a single accusatory glance. He smiled softly, and that gesture alone flooded me with warmth, like the first spring thaw melting winter's ice, dissolving barriers I'd built around my heart. "Mark," he spoke, his voice a soothing resonance, carrying the gentle authority of a shepherd calling his flock home, echoing through my being without sound waves. It wasn't distant or commanding. It was intimate, personal, as if he'd walked my fields with me all along, knowing every furrow of worry etched into my life. In that moment, doubt vanished, replaced by an overwhelming sense of being truly known and accepted, human frailties laid bare yet met with infinite mercy. Extending a hand that glowed with subtle light, he drew me closer, his touch a surge of healing energy that mended unseen scars from long days of toil and unspoken regrets. "You've labored in earthly fields," he said tenderly, sowing seeds of worry and harvest of fleeting joys, forgetting the eternal crop that faith nurtures. Visions unfolded around us, vivid replays of my life, mornings rushing to the tractor, ignoring Lisa's quiet prayers, arguments over farm debts, words sharp as thorns wounding those I loved. Selfish instants appeared as storm clouds gathering, skipping family time for extra work, pride blocking apologies, yet balanced by rays of kindness, like helping neighbors during floods or Sophie's bedtime stories. No shadow of judgment clouded his expression. Instead, pure mercy shone through, like sunlight piercing rain clouds, offering forgiveness that required no penance, only acceptance. Tears welled in my spirit, not sorrow but release, as guilt from neglected faith evaporated in his gaze, leaving purity in its wake. "See the light within your journey," he encouraged, illuminating those positive moments. Tom's soccer games cheered from sidelines, Anna's hugs after school, showing how love had always been there, seeds waiting for faith's water to bloom. "True life flourishes not in soil alone," Jesus continued, his words weaving truth like threads in a tapestry, "but in prayer that connects to the divine, faith that withstands storms, love that mirrors my own." He revealed glimpses of potential. Farm days starting with gratitude, evenings unified in family devotion, turning routine labors into acts of worship. Prayer emerged as lifeline, not ritual, igniting inner peace amid droughts, fostering revival in weary hearts. The metaphor resonated. My fields as souls, tilled by belief, yielding eternal fruits beyond earthly yields. Deeper insights followed, Jesus unveiling worldly truths with gentle urgency, no alarm but compassionate warning. The world drifts in spiritual drought, he shared, visions of global unrest flickering, moral erosion like parched earth cracking, conflicts sprouting from forgotten seeds of hate. Yet hope gleamed, faith as renewing rain, prayer sparking communal awakening, love quenching division's fires. No condemnation for humanity's wanderings, only invitation to return, emphasizing each soul's power to choose light over encroaching shadows. His teaching deepened personally. Let go of illusions, Mark, debt's chains, pride's weeds, and embrace forgiveness that frees. Metaphors abounded. Light as divine love guiding paths, darkness as fear's temporary veil dispelled by prayer's flame. Sincerity radiated from him, no superiority, just shared understanding elevated by grace, sensory richness enhanced, subtle warmth like sun on skin, harmonious whispers like wind in leaves, emotional layers peeling, regret yielding to joy and rediscovered purpose. As revelations peaked, Jesus enveloped me in a spiritual embrace, love tangible as Lisa's hugs, but infinitely deeper, mending doubts about God's distance. You are forgiven wholly, he affirmed, statement balm over old wounds from self-neglect and relational strains, absence of judgment profound, mercy flowing like rivers irrigating dry lands, preparing me for greater disclosures ahead. Finally, in this sacred communion, my soul ignited with understanding, Jesus' message etched eternally. Carry love forward, ignite faith through testimony, let prayer banish fear. The encounter wasn't conclusion, but catalyst, teasing prophecies to come, heart forever altered by grace's touch. Transformed from doubting farmer to vessel of truth, ready for visions of America's trials, committed to spiritual harvest. With his message of love still resonating, Jesus gestured toward the luminous expanse, and the light parted like morning mist over fields, revealing visions of America's future. Stark, vivid scenes unfolding before 2025's close. These weren't vague dreams, but sharp prophecies, warnings wrapped in mercy, not to terrify but awaken souls to repentance. Each event symbolized deeper spiritual ills, calls to prayer and faith amid coming trials. The contrast hit hard, from heavenly peace to earthly turmoil, my farm life seeming fragile against these giants. The first event surged forth, coastal megastorms, hurricanes amplified by warming seas, barreling into eastern shores with winds howling like tormented spirits. Cities flooded, skyscrapers knee-deep in salt water, cars floating like debris in my tornado's wake. People scrambled to rooftops, cries lost in gales, complacency drowned in rising tides. Jesus explained this as washing away false idols of progress, urging America to anchor in faith's rock. Prayer, he said, could calm such tempests, turning destruction to renewal through collective devotion. Second came earthquakes fracturing the West, ground convulsing like a beast awakening, San Andreas splitting wide, mountains crumbled, highways buckled, homes swallowed in dust clouds thicker than Oklahoma fog. Screams echoed as bridges fell, families separated in chaos. This shook false securities, Jesus noted, material wealth crumbling like sandcastles. Faith's foundation withstands, prayer rebuilding stronger communities. I felt the tremors vicariously, recalling my cellar collapse, a personal echo amplifying the urgency to warn kin. Widespread fires ignited third, flames devouring forests from California to Rockies, sparked by drought and carelessness, spreading unchecked like gossip in small towns. Homes incinerated, skies blackened with smoke, wildlife fleeing in panic. Symbolizing unchecked anger and division, Jesus whispered, "These blazes mirrored hearts aflame with hate. Love extinguishes them, prayer cooling passions. Visions of ash-covered lands tugged at my farmer's soul, crops lost to infernos, reinforcing need for spiritual hydration through daily communion." Fourth, economic meltdown gripped the nation, markets crashing like dominoes, dollars worthless as autumn leaves. Heartlands like mine suffered famine, silos empty, bread lines snaking through dusty towns. Families bartered scraps, hunger gnawing deeper than winter chills. This purged greed's idols, Jesus taught, redirecting to heavenly provision. Faith sustains through scarcity, prayer multiplying loaves as in scriptures. My own lone worries paled, this vision a stark lesson in trusting divine harvest over earthly yields. Civil unrest erupted fifth, dividing communities in hatred's flames, protests turning violent, cities ablaze with riots fueled by injustice and misinformation. Neighbors turned foes, barricades rising like walls in divided fields. Blood-stained streets, unity shattered like glass in storms. Jesus highlighted this as enemies' division, counterable by love's bridge building. Prayer unites, fostering forgiveness without judgment. Seeing fractured families mirrored my occasional spats with Lisa, personal stakes heightening my resolve to promote peace. Sixth, unveiled spiritual darkness deepening, unseen battles where demons whispered despair, addictions and suicides rising like weeds in untended soil. Shadows engulfed hearts, moral compass lost, society polarizing in fear's grip. Yet, faith's light prevails, Jesus assured. Prayer the sword, love the shield in ethereal wars. This chilled most, undercurrents beneath my routine days exposed, a call to arms spiritually against invisible foes. As visions faded, Jesus' voice urged, "Warn America, repent, pray fervently, love unconditionally. Redemption awaits in turning to me." Burdened yet empowered, I grasped the prophecy's purpose, not doom, but divine invitation to awakening, mercy offering paths from ruin through faith's embrace. Reflections swirled, each catastrophe a mirror to human weaknesses, my tornado a microcosm, emphasizing prayer's power to avert or mitigate. No condemnation in his tone, only compassionate guidance toward revival. Transformed, I committed inwardly to share these, turning farmers' testimony to beacon, guiding others from darkness to light before 2025's trials unfold. Abruptly, a strong pull yanked me from the light's embrace, like a rope hauling me back through darkening tunnels toward the physical world. Visions of America's trials faded, replaced by rushing sensations, beeps growing louder, sterile smells invading. My eyes snapped open in a hospital room, body racked with pain from crushed ribs and bruises, monitors tracking my revived heart. Gasping air, I saw Lisa's tear-streaked face, her hands gripping mine tightly, relief flooding her eyes after hours of anguish thinking me gone forever. The kids clustered nearby, Sophie clinging to Anna, Tom wide-eyed. They'd huddled in prayer, fearing the tornado had claimed their dad eternally. Nurses bustled. Doctors marveled at my return from clinical death, calling it a miracle amid the storm's widespread devastation. Body weak, tethered to IVs, but spirit soared, the light's warmth lingering like embers in my chest, contrasting sharply with the cold hospital sheets. Lisa whispered, "Thanks to God," her faith, once my casual backdrop, now the bridge pulling me through. I tried speaking, voice hoarse. I saw Jesus, warnings for America. Their expressions shifted from grief to wonder, seeds of belief planted in that sterile room. Recovery days blurred in pain meds and tests, body mending slowly while soul transformed overnight. Contrast overwhelmed, from heavenly peace to earthly frailty, farm worries trivial against eternal prophecies. Lisa shared the tornado's toll, barn gone, fields ravaged, neighbors lost. But her prayers sustained the family, echoing Jesus' teachings on faith's power. Kids visited daily, Sophie drawing angels, Tom asking about the light, Anna quietly absorbing, their innocence mirroring my renewed awe. As strength returned, I recounted more. The light's love, Jesus' mercy, 6 events looming, storms, quakes, fires, meltdown, unrest, darkness. No judgment in my telling, only sincere invitation to embrace prayer. Lisa's eyes lit with recognition, her Bible studies aligning, strengthening our bond. We prayed together bedside, turning hospital into sanctuary, faith weaving us tighter than before. Discharged home, the farm greeted like a battleground. Debris cleared, but scars remained, metaphor for my spirit's rebirth amid ruins. Routines resumed differently, mornings with family prayer over coffee, gratitude for each dawn instead of rushed chores. Lisa and I talked deeply, arguments replaced by understanding, love's light banishing old shadows. Kids joined devotions, Sophie reciting verses, Tom helping in fields with newfound purpose, Anna journaling visions impact. Community rallied, neighbors sharing storm stories, my testimony sparking conversations at gatherings. I spoke tentatively at first, voice steadying. Jesus showed me America's trials. Repent, pray, love to avert them. Skeptics nodded politely, but seeds planted, some returning for more, faith rippling like waves in a pond. Church became central, once sporadic visits, now weekly anchors. I shared from pulpit, describing NDE without embellishment, emphasizing mercy over fear. Congregants wept, committing to prayer chains for the nation, warnings of 2025 events fueling urgency without panic. Lisa supported, her quiet strength amplifying my words, turning our home into hub for Bible studies. Farming transformed, tilling soil with prayers for bountiful harvest and spiritual revival, each seed sown symbolizing faith's potential. Debts lingered, but worry lessened, trusting divine provision as Jesus taught. Evenings, family gathered on porch, watching sunsets, discussing prophecies, coastal storms as calls to humility, earthquakes shaking pride. Outreach grew, writing my story for local papers, joining NDE groups online, urging America toward awakening. Media interviews followed, message tempered with love, no condemnation, only hope through faith. Challenges arose, doubts from cynics, my pains flaring, but light's memory dispelled them, purpose anchoring like deep roots in stormy soil. Ultimately, life elevated, from ordinary farmer to messenger of mercy, saving souls through testimony, guiding toward God's embrace before trials hit. Family flourished in this new light, bonds unbreakable, eternal perspective shaping days. Redemption's path clear, I embraced calling fully, prayer igniting hope amid gathering clouds.